New servers can be fun, but at the same time, they must be treated differently from regular servers. Let's break down on why. Starting with the first step, don't think of making the best experience possible, because a lot of people will try that themselves. In new servers where there is a lot of other players in your level range, it means that you will have more competition for places to hunt, and since everyone is thinking of getting levels, they will go to the more popular places. And in Tibia, the majority of spawns get worse when there's more people there. So instead look for alternative spawns, which could be the third place or below in terms of experience. It might feel less efficient, but if you manage to do a full hunt uninterrupted, then it ends up being better overall. Second tip is consistency. Many people will say that in order to reach the top levels on the server, you need to put a lot of money, which is partly true. But it can't be ignored that most players that get to the top 10 in levels are putting a lot of hours every day. And even though, yes, they're spending crazy amount of money sometimes, it's not as important as putting time to level up consistently. My main, Fenda Korea, was created on a new server at the time, and I didn't buy boost or praise or even train. All we did, since we were playing as a duo, was play every day about 2 to 4 hours, and we were not in the top 25, not even top 50 at the start, but I think that by the end of the first month we made top 25, and then once we got to top 10 shortly after, we never dropped, because like I said, we were just being consistent every day. And I did apply the first tip I mentioned, because for one, we were a duo, so we were not team hunting for the best experience, and secondly, we were neutrals on a server with active war, so even if we wanted to go for the best places, often people from those guilds will come and kick us. And that goes into my third tip. Team hunting is not always better. In fact, if it is with randoms, then it's likely to be worse for you. Every time I see people looking for a team in the advertised channel, they will spend a good amount of time looking for a full party. Often they will not be doing anything else, but my point is that it takes time, and even when you get 4 players, it also takes time to deal with 4 different people. Everyone needs to grab supplies, and more importantly, you need a place to hunt. And unlike for solos or even duos, there is not as many options for team hunting. In fact, it's by far more contested. So let's say it takes you 20 minutes to get a team going, then 5 minutes to decide and get to a spawn like the Old Fortress for example, a very common spawn for the level 70s or so. And once you get there, you find other people hunting, then you guys decide to go somewhere else. Another 5 minutes picking a place and getting there, and hopefully it's empty, but if it's not, then it's more time wasted again. And by now I guarantee that you will lose 1 or 2 players, because it's boring wasting time like that, and then you need to go back to step 1 and repeat the cycle. So overall, you could lose 30 minutes not doing much at all, instead of doing 30 minutes of solo hunting for average experience. However, it's not the same if you have a team of people you know, because then everyone will be easier to convince to settle for different spawns. Also, if everyone has the same goals, it's easier, and it's even better if you are all within the same levels. Additionally, your team will be more likely to put money together for defensive praise for the night so that you can hunt harder spawns. And for my last tip, money management. Zipsos sells all types of supplies from runes to potions for Tibia coins in the store. If you see that on a regular server, then it makes no sense for how overpriced they are. But on a new server it's totally different. As long as each Tibia coin is worth less than 1200 gold, then a lot of supplies will be cheaper from the store than the NPC. Just take a look at this price list. This will apply for quite some time, as Tibia coins will slowly go up in price, but not right away. But also after the first week of the server, then people get access to houses, where you can purchase casks, which are even more cost efficient. Here is the cost of the cask in Tibia coins and how much it will be in gold as well. As you can see, using the example of the small manas, 1k potions are worth 56k in gold. That will mean the Tibia coins need to be more than 11k per coin, and for them to get to that price could take more than a month. So for a long time it will be a lot better to buy potions from Casks. Because of this, people that are able to get houses which are very expensive to get on a new server will sell casks to others, for a small profit of course. This is a price list of how much they usually ask for them. But be aware that in order to buy a Casks, you need to be the house owner, so they will ask for the coins first and then buy the Casks and let you use it, which obviously has the risk of them stealing your money. But also, to use the Casks, you need to have a lot of empty vials, so I recommend to buy one cask at a time with gold, even if it is more expensive, because it's easier to have 1k empty vials at a time. With all of that said, it's important to always check the price of Tibia coins in the market before buying supplies, and be aware that you can only buy and transfer coins at 25 intervals, so it might take more time to get your first 25 coins to buy from the store. In that case, you should buy the minimal amount of supplies from the NPC while saving your money. But besides supplies, it's important to be smart on how to spend the profit you make. Pieces of equipment will be often overpriced, and it's likely that you can continue hunting without some of them. Also, don't buy every spell available, but instead pick which ones you actually need and get those. Do the same with equipment and you will realize that you don't need to upgrade that often, and overall it will be better to use your money to get Tibia coins, as that is the only resource that is likely to go up in price. And once they do, you can just sell them back for the money you need. That's all I got for this one. If you're going to be playing on a paladin or a knight, check these videos that I made of my own progression during a new server. I also have a lot more videos of places to hunt that you could check. And if you found this video useful, then consider subscribing and hope to see you again.